Hi guys, this is Kelly, the Hammy Mama. One day I'll go into my channel name, what it means, not today though. Today I'm going to be talking about my labor and delivery story. My son is actually 5.5 months old right now, so this is going back some time, but I just started making videos, and I really just wanted to do this video so that I can go back and look on it myself, and hopefully I can put some tips in here for other people who may be pregnant and kind of looking to what may happen during labor and delivery. Just some tips maybe. Okay, first of all, my due date was August 21st, 2012. I went into labor. My contraction started on Saturday, August 18th, so I was about a week early. And all along they had been saying that my son was a little big, and that he seemed to be maybe 2 weeks ahead, but I know we timed it. I know the timing was perfect and the due date was what it was supposed to be. But anyway, no worries. Well, I want to go back for just a minute, and I want to give a couple hints, or not hints, but tips. My husband and I we did a lot of research. I am a research fanatic, so I read a lot, watch a lot of videos, movies and things. And we had our heart set on a natural childbirth. I did, watched all the movies, like Business of Being Born and all of those videos, and we just really wanted a natural childbirth, and we even invested in the Hypno Babies at home at home study series, which was very helpful. We did all of that. I want to make sure that you understand that anything can happen. Like, we had a birth plan. It was from soup to nuts. Like, I had everything down, like what we wanted, what things we didn't want, and literally everything was opposite of what I wanted. But I did, I tried to keep an open mind about it, and I went into it thinking, well, okay, some things happen, and don't be too upset if it doesn't go exactly my way, and it didn't. I did labor at home as long as I could. I don't know if you could tell by the title. I was in labor for 83 hours. So, yeah. And I stayed home for most of it, because if you were in the hospital laboring that long, they wouldn't let it go that long. And then another thing, get a doula. That was the best thing my husband and I did. Like, even though we read books and did the research and watched videos, when labor starts, it's all out the window. My poor husband, God bless him, didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. The doula, the best investment ever. She was amazing. She's kept my breathing where it was supposed to be, and she's kind of there to say, okay, I think things are progressing, we need to go hospital or not. She kept in touch with my midwife, so we decided to go with a midwife instead of a doctor. Well, we did have a physician backup in case something happened, which we did need. But the doula was amazing. Okay, so it's going to be a long video, I apologize. And it's going to be all over the place because this happened quite a while ago. And I did write it down, like, maybe a few weeks after. I kind of tried to remember everything and write it down. So, it's kind of fuzzy. Everything's a blur. Okay, so August 18th at about 8 o'clock in the morning, my contractions started, and there was no doubting what it was. I knew. And they were about 10 to 15 minutes apart at the time, and then they slowly progressed to 7 minutes and 6 minutes within a few hours. They became irregular in the evening. My doula came over. She spent the night with us, and they were 10 to 15 minutes apart, give or take. And she stayed the night, but then she left in the morning to get some things done, and she was sure I had time. So I'm sorry, I'm looking at my notes. Okay, and then in the Sunday evening they picked up, the contractions picked up more, and then all day and all night on Sunday. My midwife came over, as well as the doula. She came back, and Monday morning my midwife checked my progress, and I was dilated to about 3 to 4 centimeters. She could feel my bag of water, but she said I had plenty of time to go, ways to go. I couldn't believe it because I was sure, oh, it's, it's almost time. Yeah, little did I know. Okay, so that was Monday. So it started Saturday. This is about Monday. And I don't know at what point I started leaking fluid. My water didn't break completely, but I just started kind of leaking fluid. And my husband went out and got me some adult diapers, which really helped because I leaked for about 2 days. It was ridiculous. And I could tell that there was meconium in the fluid. Yeah, so I wasn't happy about that. Okay, so everyone was encouraging me to continue to stay at home and labor, which I did, and my doula stayed most of the day on Monday. And again, the contractions kind of eased up a little bit, so she left and got some stuff done, came back, or after going to bed that night. I had to call her back at 2 a.m. because it was ridiculous, like vomiting, everything. And I had, this whole time I was in and out of the shower a lot, just taking shower, and did some walking, and got on the birthing ball. I did all that stuff. My midwife came over Monday night to check my progress. Said I hadn't made too much more progress. Let's see, and then actually Tuesday morning she came over again and checked, and I was maybe about 6 centimeters dilated. And she said that's it, we're going to the hospital. I mean, it was already Tuesday morning. I started labor Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, it was 3 days. And so we went to the hospital and confirmed that there was meconium, and I had been leaking, so there really wasn't much. My midwife kind of went through the motions of breaking my water for the hospital's sake, because when your water breaks, you're on a clock, and if you don't deliver within a certain amount of time, things just get hairy. They have a protocol. I didn't want that, so she went through the motions of breaking my water, and they said, oh, meconium, glitter, I mean, at this point, like, things were just, they wanted me to get a IV, which I didn't want. I had to get that. I was so dehydrated because I wasn't drinking. Another tip, drink a lot of fluid. Seriously, drink a lot. Gave me an IV. Took 5 sticks to get me an IV. Yeah, 5. I have awesome veins, but I was so dehydrated. They had me on the monitor the whole time. I didn't want to be on a monitor. I wanted a birthing tub. I mean, my hospital doesn't accommodate for water births, but my midwife has a tub that they could set up in the labor room. That couldn't happen because of the meconium. And it was just, ridiculous. Like everything spun out of control so fast. They ended up putting me on Pitocin, which was the last thing I wanted, because I just couldn't progress. I mean, I was about 6 centimeters dilated and hours had passed, nothing. So I ended up getting the Pitocin, which made my contractions so much worse. My son was in a position, he was kind of posterior, he was in a position that was not ideal for birth, and he was pushing on, they said, a nerve or something that causes your body to want to push, and that's what was happening. My body was inadvertently pushing. So they checked me at some point and said that my cervix was swelling and his head started to come through, so it was molding. It was kind of sucking through, and my cervix was only 6-7 centimeters dilated. So that wasn't good. So everybody kind of said, you need an epidural. Your body needs to relax. And I was glad. I was very glad, because I wanted to be this strong person that, you know, could do it, I could do it, but I needed the epidural. It had been, I don't know how many hours. So I got the epidural. It took 3 people to find my urethra. Yeah, it was ridiculous. I guess I'm just shaped funny, I don't know. But they got it in, everything was fine. And things started getting bad again. His heart rate started going up and down, and at the wrong times, and I had to get the oxygen on, and it was just very disheartening, and I was very worried. So they kept checking me, and I wasn't progressing at all. And they just said, we need to do a C-section. You know, that's just, and I believe my midwife. Like, if an OB tells me that, they're basically surgeons. I don't know what to believe, but my midwife, when she said it, you know, I was like, okay, you know, and within 20 minutes I was in the OR. So I basically, in that whole 83 hours, like, had an epidural for maybe 3 or 4 hours. Stay tuned for the second part. Hi everybody, I'm back for part 2 of my labor and delivery story. Okay, sorry I so abruptly ended the last one. I just realized it was going kind of long. I have a little timer over here, and so I just wanted to make sure I gave enough time. Okay, so where was I? The C-section. It's funny because when I was reading all of my books to prepare for the birth, I skipped over the C-section parts of books. I mean, I did have enough knowledge to know what to expect, but I was just like, it was so out of the realm, like, oh, this isn't going to happen, you know, because I had my mind set on what was going to happen. So, but anyway, they set me up for the epidural, and within 20 minutes of making the decision, it was pretty much happening. So it was all very fast. I was just glad to be at the end point of all of this. And also, I think I had developed some sort of fever, so they were giving me antibiotics through my IV. But I mean, all that resolved. It was no problem. I think it was just the fact of being, you know, awake for that long. It had been days since I'd slept, and just everything that had happened. It was it was a lot. So they took me into surgery. My husband was able to come in after they had started, I believe. I don't even really recall They gave me more epidural medicine. And they said that in the epidural, they put a medication. It's a synthetic morphine, synthetic. And they said, oh yeah, he's like, it could cause some itching afterwards. It's long lasting and it's supposed to last for 24 hours, give me relief. So I was like, okay, whatever. I'll get to that in a minute. So the epidural caused me to shake, like violently, so like shaking. And sorry for the visual. So that was unnerving. But I'm laying there, my husband's there, he had the camera. It would seem like forever. They were just doing what they were doing. And I guess because of the meconium issue, they weren't able to show me my son after he came out. They just took him straight over and were cleaning him up and all that good stuff. I did hear his cry, and I began to cry when I heard that. It was just like an emotional thing, so emotional. But my husband was able to go over and see him and take pictures, and once they got him, you know, made sure he could breathe okay and everything, they swaddled him up and brought him over to me, so I was able to give him a little kiss, and yeah, it was awesome. Okay, so after that, they took him to the nursery. I didn't see him for maybe an hour. After that, after I was in recovery, they brought him in maybe an hour later, and the nurse was just manhandling him like crazy. She was trying to get him to latch on to the breast, and just like, I mean, I can't even imagine. Like, the poor baby had been through so much to begin with. Oh, by the way, he was 9 pounds, 0 ounces, so he was a big baby, 21.5 inches long, but he was in perfect health. I mean, he was beautiful, fat little chunky baby. So fast forward, she's trying to get him to latch on, and I mean, she was just manhandling him so much. He was stressed out. I mean, the poor kid, right? He'd been through so much to begin with. And so she was just like, oh, my cat is photobombing this baby girl. Hi. So silly. So, you know, he was latching a little bit, but he was just so out of it and tired, and so they ended up taking him back to the nursery, I guess, so I could get some sleep, and so that they could finish up with him and give him a bath and whatever. So I guess while in the nursery, they said his blood sugar was low. They like expect it with bigger babies, but I found out after the fact that it really wasn't that low. They just told me that so that they would have to give him formula. I wasn't happy about that at all because I wanted to strictly breastfeed. Turns out I couldn't do that. I'm going to make a video on my breastfeeding journey because I have a condition I can't breastfeed, but I'll get into that in another video. So they brought him in. Later they said that we have to give him formula. He have to get his blood sugar up, and they did, and he was much better. It's all a big blur what happened, but he ended up staying in the nursery that night, and then by the morning they put him in the NICU because they said he, you know, couldn't feed properly, he wasn't eating, he was spitting up what he was eating. There was really no need for it, really, but they did it anyway. And they had my husband and I worried sick. But he was in the NICU, and the rule is when the baby's in the NICU, they're in there for 48 hours. So, I mean, I was going to be there another couple days anyway. So, but the bad thing about the whole thing is, you know, there was no bonding. Like, I couldn't bond with the baby. And this is one thing that not everybody, I think it happens to more people than they let on because they don't want to admit it. But I did have issues bonding with my baby. I mean, I loved him because he was my baby, but I think I was so traumatized by everything. I was just scared to death, and I didn't feel like that bond that everybody says, oh, I was instantly in love with my baby, and I feel horrible about it. I mean, I really do, but it happens. And the best thing to do is just realize it's happening and don't feel guilty about it and work through it. Because right now, I mean, he's my heart. I love him to death. I mean, I can't even put it into words. But it took a little bit of time, and oh, I'm sorry, I'm moving the camera. But anyway, I was able to go down to the NICU with my husband, and he went down more often than I did because I was recovering. And that medicine that they put in the epidural was horrible. I was itching so bad, like I would have taken the pain any day. I mean, I was in pain, but the itching, it was like, there's nothing, like chicken pox wasn't itchy compared to this. Mosquito bites aren't itchy compared to this. Like, I was literally digging chunks of flesh out of my body. It was horrible. So that was just my experience with that. And it did last 24 hours. 24. Okay. So the whole time I was in the hospital, I was there from Tuesday to Friday. I basically, the first time I picked my baby up was when I was leaving. That's the first time. They would hand him to me in the NICU so that I could try to breastfeed, and they gave me a pump in my room, so I would try to pump. Now, and I wasn't getting that much, a tiny bit of colostrum, but nothing. I mean, it just wasn't happening. And I was able to go down and feed him a little bit, but I literally didn't get to pick him up. Like, they would just hand him to me. So when we were leaving, I was terrified, and that was the beginning of horrible anxiety and depression. Like, and it lasted 2 weeks. It was bad. When we got home, thank God my mom, she came and stayed for a week and helped, and my husband helped, but I couldn't go into my room. Like, I was having post-traumatic stress from my bedroom just because I think everything that happened in there. I was, like, when nighttime would come, I would start getting so anxious. I would shake. I was just I had this horrible fear that I didn't know where it came from. It was really bad, and depression, and so I was taking like natural herbs and things that my doula, suggested to take for depression and anxiety as I was trying to breastfeed. I had a lactation counselor come to try to help me to breastfeed, and she kind of looked at me and this happened in the hospital as well. I had a lactation consultant try to help me. And she's like, well, just from looking at your breasts, you may have breast hypoplasia. You may not be able to breastfeed, or if you do, it may not be successful. And that's kind of what happened. I mean, I tried really hard. I rented a hospital-grade pump, and it just wasn't happening. And I'll go into it more with the breastfeeding video. So I think I covered everything. There were just some things that, I didn't know about that could happen that happened. Like, some of the contractions I had were right on top of each other. So I would go 5-6 minutes with one full contraction that I didn't know. I thought it was going to last forever. That kind of happened a lot. And just the bonding issue with the baby. I don't know. I have a beautiful baby that I'm thankful, and anything could have happened. So I'm very thankful for just God getting me through, getting us through, all of us, and we're okay. Things could have been worse. So But I just wanted to put my story out there for everyone, and just have an open mind. You know, anything could happen, and just realize that it's okay. Whatever happens is going to happen, and you'll get through it. If anybody has any questions, comments, let me know. I'll try to answer any questions the best that I can, and I will upload a video on the breastfeeding as soon as I can. Okay? Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you soon. Bye.